Welcome back, everyone. We have Europe's Cataclysm, 30 Years War, Epic History TV. Are you ready? I'm ready. Every time Epic History comes out, I just get excited. Let's jump right in. But before that, let's establish some context of what I know about the 30 Years War. Basically, it is a interesting time, as always, in the early 17th century. You have a lot of powers. You have like the Holy Roman Empire. You have places like the Habsburgs within that, as well as like Spain and the Dutch. You have Catholicism. I can't talk. You have the Catholics. You have the Protestants. So you kind of have that Protestant Reformation kind of like intertwining in this period. You also have like a French and a Habsburg, like continuous like feud going back and forth. You obviously have Spain. You have Dutch, and the Dutch kind of want to be independent. You also have Sweden, Gustavus Adolphus, the Lion of the North. You have people like the Winter King. You have a lot of interesting lore here. But, I want to learn more. So let's go and learn more together. Let's go.
1618. Europe stands on the cusp of the most destructive war in its history. A 30-year-long cataclysm that will engulf the continent.
Yeah, 1648.
Rape, slaughter, and rumors of cannibalism will haunt the land. War, starvation, and plague will decimate whole populations. Men, women, children, soldiers and civilians. No one will be spared. In a conflict that still casts a long shadow across European history to the modern day. Our video...
Yeah, the decimation, like 50% of Germany got wiped out, I think. And there was like 5 million dead. 5 to 8 million dead. Not a great, what do you call it? Situation. By the way, yeah, it looks like it says HOI4. No, it's not HOI4. It's Europa Universalis 5. Interesting. Go check that out. So let's go. Love these quotes, as always. I have seen more corpses than living men, more ruined houses than standing ones, more places desolate than inhabited. What a poet. Johann von Grimmelshausen.
100 years after the Protestant Reformation split Christianity into rival camps, Europe is bitterly divided. Many northern rulers have embraced the Protestant teachings inspired by Martin Luther. In the south, most remain solidly Catholic and loyal to the Pope in Rome.
Yeah, so you have this like, north-south like interesting division here. Of course, it's spread. You have enclaves here and there. But it's like a direct, the lines are drawn.
Suspicion, unrest, and sectarian violence spread like a virus. In England and Scotland, Protestant King James fears a Catholic resurgence. In France, Catholic authorities are nervous about Protestant subversion. The Protestant Dutch fight desperately for independence from Catholic Spain. But the divisions run deepest in the Holy Roman Empire.
As does everything, right? Come on. You're going to have all these different princes and kingdoms and places. I'll just say places. And then, of course, you have the Holy Roman Empire who has an emperor. And then that's always being fought dynastically or chosen by who you oppose and who you are subservient under. And you have that relationship with the Pope, and maybe you have a continuation of gripeness towards who has more power in the HRE. Is it just bestowed by the Pope? Is it bestowed by the Emperor? Is it the chicken or the egg? And then so forth. Now you have Protestantism just rampant throughout your HRE, so you create even more problems because you have an inherent feud.
This is not a unified realm, but a patchwork of kingdoms, principalities, and duchies, many of which will one day form the modern state of Germany. Voltaire later quipped, it was neither holy, Roman, nor an empire.
Which has been the most talked about quote of all time when you use HRE in this breath. I think there's a spectrum of all that. There's times when it was more holy. There was times when it was more centralized. And there was definitely times, what was it? I mean, the Romanization to it really just, I mean, there was definitely some Romanization to it in terms of the theory. But, I mean, what is a Roman?
Instead, each mini-state has its own government, but all are overseen by the Holy Roman Emperor. The Emperor is a figurehead, elected by 7 powerful princes and archbishops.
Is it Ferdinand at this time?
For centuries, the role has been filled by a member of the Habsburg dynasty, Europe's dominant ruler of vast lands that include Spain and its overseas colonies. The emperors are staunch Catholics, but their Holy Roman Empire is as religiously split as the rest of the continent. Since a treaty of 1555, religious peace has held together under the principle of cuius regio, eius religio, whose realm, whose religion.
It is states' rights, basically, in the American terms.
Meaning all subjects must follow the faith of their ruler.
But who is the ruler, and what does he rule?
But it is unworkable to impose belief from above. Lutheran and Calvinist missionaries compete for converts. Many Catholics are ready to fight to reunify Christendom under the Pope. The Holy Roman Empire is a powder keg, primed to explode.
Yeah, why epic history? If you had any other name, I've been pissed. But this is epic. I would rather rule over a desert than a country of heretics. Who said that? Ferdinand, King of Bohemia. Okay.
The first sparks flare in Bohemia. The local nobility is religiously diverse and fiercely independent. Here, Bohemian Hussites broke with Rome a century before the Reformation. But Bohemia is under the direct rule of King Ferdinand, a Habsburg and hardline Catholic. He cancels concessions, demolishes non-Catholic churches. These deliberate provocations anger Bohemia's nobles and reformers. In May 1618, they corner 2 of Ferdinand's ministers at Prague Castle, subject them to a summary trial, and throw them and their secretary from a high window.
Well, dang.
The 2 ministers survive the fall. Catholic allies claim angels saved them. Protestant rebels say they landed in a dung heap.
Wait.
Fall. Window. The 2 ministers survive the fall.
How far up were they?
One thing is not in doubt. Bohemia is in open rebellion against imperial Catholic rule.
Ooh.
The first act of violence in what will soon become the deadliest conflict Europe has ever known. Ferdinand has powerful allies. Duke Maximilian of Bavaria, leader of the Empire's Catholic League. The Duke of Saxony, a Lutheran but whose loyalty has been secured with promises of land. And the might of Habsburg Spain, Europe's greatest power, unwilling to let up evil in Germany.
Yeah, the gold reserves go deep. So, like, in terms of like how we look at like 19th century, as like England was the purse of Europe, Spain is the purse of Europe in this sense because of Latin America and the gold reserves.
Threaten its supply road to the Netherlands. But this imperial faction immediately faces serious threats. The Bohemian rebels besiege Vienna,
Ooh.
while a Transylvanian force, supported by the emperor's bitterest enemy, the Ottoman Empire, invades Hungary,
Oh. Oh. What?
Vienna, while a Transylvanian force, supported by the emperor's bitterest enemy, the Ottoman Empire, invades Hungary, torching villages, seizing food, laying waste to the land.
Okay.
The Ottomans hold back from committing their own troops to the invasion force. It's a potent what-if moment from European history, and exactly the sort of alternate history you can explore in Europa Universalis.
Okay, we gotta watch the ad just because that was clean. That was clean. That was a good transition.
5. Could you take advantage of the splits in Christendom to carve out a greater Ottoman Empire in Central Europe? Diplomatic as well as military means are available to you, and dynastic manipulation. In August 1619, emboldened by success on the battlefield,
Is this the Winter King?
the Bohemians depose Ferdinand and replace him with one of their own, and crown him King Frederick. But in a plot twist, the Holy Roman Emperor dies, and Ferdinand is himself elected the new emperor that same month.
Uh-oh.
The Bohemians' local revolt is now an act of treason against imperial authority.
Praga, so this is Prague.
The tide begins to turn. Ferdinand enlists the help of Catholic Poland, which sends cavalry forces to harass the Transylvanians. They are driven back into Hungary.
So Polish cavalry coming in key again?
In November 1620, an elite Imperial and Catholic League force meets the ill-disciplined rebel army at White Mountain outside Prague. The fighting is brief but bloody. In just over an hour, 1,000 Protestant soldiers are slaughtered.
Jeez.
The fledgling Bohemian independence movement appears to have been crushed. But the wider conflict is far from over, and soon the flames of religious war will spread across the continent.
We shall not rest until the princes and estates of the Holy Roman Empire of both one and the other religion shall live together in abiding peace. Christian IV of Denmark. That's what he said.
After his victory at White Mountain, the uncompromising Emperor Ferdinand clamps down. Rebel ringleaders are arrested and executed. Severed heads are put on public display. In 1621, the Emperor's avenging forces descend on the Palatinate, the homelands of Bohemia's usurper king.
Palatinate. Heard of this.
That same year, a truce between Spain and the Dutch expires, and open conflict reignites.
Uh-oh. Is this the 80 Years' War?
It will soon blend into the wider European war between Catholics and Protestants.
It's crazy.
With Spanish help, Ferdinand's forces spend 3 years crushing all resistance. By the end of 1623, most of Western Germany is under Catholic League occupation.
Wow. And then, so who's the central defiance then gonna come from?
The mostly Protestant lords of northern Germany are alarmed by Catholic armies so close to their borders. In 1625, Christian, King of Denmark and Duke of German Holstein, declares war on Ferdinand and marches south, a preemptive strike to secure his hold over North Germany. Catholic League forces march north to confront the Danes and their allies. They are led by 2 brilliant commanders, Johann Tserclaes, Count of Tilly in the Spanish Netherlands, and Albrecht von Wallenstein, leader of Ferdinand's imperial army in Bohemia.
Jeez. That sound like some BAs right there.
Wallenstein is a Bohemian Protestant but also a notoriously ambitious mercenary commander. Both men are heroes of the victory at White Mountain. For 3 years, the Catholic forces push the Danes out of Germany, while Wallenstein occupies the Baltic coast.
God dang, they're moving up fast.
The Danish...
Look how Denmark, Norway is just Norway. I mean, I know Copenhagen's right there, but those 3 islands are all that's left. This is almost like reminiscent of the Schleswig-Holstein Wars in terms of like how quick they got overran by German forces. It's crazy. I know this happened way before that though, but it's interesting.
King has no hope of victory. In 1629, he surrenders to the Catholics.
Oh my goodness. So Sweden, obviously, we know what's going to come with Gustavus Adolphus, but Sweden and Britain, Great Britain, are going to have to do something.
That same year, Ferdinand doubles down on Catholic supremacy by publishing the Edict of Restitution, a document that rolls back the spread of Protestantism since 1555. It is an inflammatory move, utterly unacceptable to Protestants. Even loyal Catholics are dismayed.
All right, we're going to read it. So the Edict of Restitution on the 6th of March, 1629. Ferdinand II issues the edict under his authority as emperor, bypassing imperial legislative process. This is your executive order. Reinterprets Peace of Augsburg, which is in 1555, in order to reverse Protestant gains. New interpretation requires Protestants to return 12 prince-bishoprics and 500 monasteries to the Catholic control, away from the Protestant control, I'm guessing. The also edict polarizes religious divisions within Holy Roman Empire. Okay.
The powerful princes who elect and support the emperor are known as the imperial electors. In 1630, they gather at Regensburg. They dismiss Wallenstein and reduce the army's size, hoping to de-escalate the conflict and contain Ferdinand's destructive instincts. But their measures go too far, leaving northern Germany virtually undefended. The timing could not be worse. A violent storm is brewing in the north, and soon it will descend to wreak a terrible, destructive path through their precious empire.
Yeah, here he is. I don't want to hear about neutrality. This is a fight between God and the devil. Wow. You're going to hate me for this, but I'm feeling a little bit of Adolphus, Gustavus Adolphus and Churchill. Whoa, why did I bring up Churchill? I don't know, but it feels very similar. Very similar to 1940. It really does. No, why? Don't hate me for that.
King Gustavus Adolphus of Sweden is a militant Lutheran who fears a Habsburg presence on the Baltic Sea. He sails south to Pomerania in July. He swiftly brings several North German states to his side, mostly under threat of force, and his numbers swell to almost 40,000. But one place allies with him willingly, the Protestant city of Magdeburg.
Magdeburg? Interesting.
The response of the Catholic and imperial forces, now all commanded by the Count of Tilly, is terrible. In May 1631, Tilly storms Magdeburg. Then, according to the city's mayor, the city was given over to murder, burning, plundering, torture and beatings. Thousands of innocent men, women and children were murdered and slaughtered in all sorts of merciless and wretched ways.
You know what the irony here is? This is a religious war, and each person believes that they're fighting for the same God. The same God. It's not like this is a crusade. It's the same. This is what's so weirdly interesting about early European politics. is they're fighting for the same God. They know that the other side has the same God, right? And they are fighting a religious war. I know there's a lot of politics within this as well, but under the pretext of religion. However, because of the religious, just how the politics of the religion itself is dictated, it's just ironic to me. I don't know why. You know why, right? Because this is a religious war. I don't know. It's interesting.
By 10 o'clock that night, the entire city, along with its beautiful town hall and all its churches, lay in ashes.
So they sacked it just as they tried to make an example out of them. Very similar to like we watch all the time, like with the Romans. You know, if you were to pay tribute, not monetarily, but you were to align yourself to Hannibal, say it's the Second Punic War. Well, Rome's going to do you dirty now, coming to your town in Campania, and quite literally do this. Maybe not to this degree, because this is even way worse than those situations. Wow.
Over 20,000 are massacred, almost the entire population.
Look at him throwing the baby off the roof, or wherever we are.
The senseless slaughter is powerful propaganda for the Protestant cause. Pamphlets and illustrated letters circulate, detailing the horrors and fueling a cycle of violent reprisal. Many Catholics will face a revenge called Magdeburg Mercy. The unluckiest of them are forced to sample the infamous Schwedentrunk.
The infamous? What is this?
The Swedish drink.
What is
Victims
this?
have their mouths pried open and their stomachs filled with water, filth, and excrement, up to the point of bursting.
Oh, God.
Sweden's intervention unleashes the kaleidoscopic horrors of the 30 Years' War.
War feeds itself.
17th century armies sweep like locusts across Europe. Most are mercenaries, paid in the plunder they seize from conquered lands.
Wow.
They strip entire regions bare before they move on.
And a lot of these images kind of like show, you know, the anecdotal, maybe contemporary uses of what the storytelling was about this time. You're gonna have a ton of rural areas. You're gonna have feudalism, so you're gonna have a ton of farms and single families that have nothing to do with this geopolitical situation just being ripped apart. It's the horrors of yesteryear.
Most of these armies are ordered in the Spanish system.
Oh.
It is based around the tercio, a large square formation composed of pikemen and musketeers.
Yep. Pike and shot warfare. This is, as I knew this was going to come up because we have the father of modern warfare that's going to face these people. But this is the interesting embeddedness of gunpowder at its finest.
They are supplemented by cavalry, used for scouting, harassment, or well-timed charges, and regiments of artillery. Together, muskets can be devastating, but individually they are inaccurate and slow to reload. Musketeers are also vulnerable to fast-moving cavalry and require robust formations of pikemen to defend them.
So every offense has a defense in this situation.
The Spanish system has dominated for a century, but recently things have begun to change. New Dutch-style infantry formations, called battalions, are smaller and less deep, with a larger proportion of firearms. This makes them less durable, but also more flexible, mobile, and capable of firing denser, more deadly volleys. And there is a push to integrate artillery with the rest of the army. Gustavus Adolphus is an early adopter and perfects the new system. His aggressive and innovative tactics, with smaller units, more firearms, and light artillery integrated into every regiment, make his army dazzlingly quick, mobile, and lethal for its size.
That's why he's dubbed the father of modern warfare.
They also win him a reputation as the father of modern warfare.
That's what I say.
And praise from men like Karl von Clausewitz and Napoleon Bonaparte as one of the greatest military commanders of all time.
Oh, that's high praise. Where do you think he stacks up against like the great greats? Because I don't hear him enough. He's more of a strategist than like your general, because you don't really hear him come up when you say general, right? You think of like people like Napoleon or people like Hannibal or Alexander. You don't really think about this guy, but you do need to bring him up in strategy for sure, like tactical strategy.
In the summer of 1631, he seems unstoppable.
Oh. This Snow King will go on melting as he comes south. Who said that? It's Ferdinand. It's 100% Ferdinand. Yep.
In September 1631, the Swedish army of Gustavus Adolphus, bolstered by troops from Saxony, meets Count Tilly near a village called Breitenfeld.
Best of best.
With nearly 40,000 on both sides, it is one of the largest battles of the 30 Years' War, and a clash between two of its most celebrated commanders. Tilly's cavalry charges the Swedish right. They are met with devastating fire, and are repulsed 8 times.
8 times they tried.
At the other end of the line, Catholic cavalry routs the Saxons on
Come on, Saxony.
Gustavus's left flank. But as Catholic forces advance, a gap opens up between them, which Gustavus exploits with a devastating counterattack. Tilly is caught flat-footed. His ranks dissolve and flee.
I mean, look, he was just, I think he was too hesitant to counter Tilly. Like, he tried to he tried to do the inverse of what Gustavus just did, and he's just slow. Maybe that just shows the systems of how mobile Gustavus's forces really were.
Leaving at least 7,000 dead on the field, with almost as many taken prisoner. The Swede
and of course at the top of this video I mentioned this was one of the most devastating wars in the world in terms of like population killed. 4 to 8 million dead. Most of that's probably through disease. Most of that's through famine. So, but you still have a ton. It's like 13,600, nothing to just look at.
Saxon dead number just over 2,000. Breitenfeld is a crushing victory for Gustavus.
It's a Pyrrhic win?
And Tilly's first major defeat, a turning point that opens a pathway for the Swedes into the south. At Rain, Tilly tries to stop them, but fails, and the old Catholic general is mortally wounded.
Okay, so now the Emperor's down a really good guy. Remember, we still had that other guy. Was it Wallenstein, or was that his name? But you're going to need somebody else.
Emperor Ferdinand turns to an old ally, Wallenstein.
That's who I was just thinking about.
In July 1632, Gustavus has moved north again, to Nuremberg. Wallenstein sets up camp nearby. Both sides struggle to find food, and are ravaged by starvation and disease. Wallenstein breaks camp to scour Saxony for supplies. Gustavus follows, and offers battle near the town of Lützen. He needs a quick victory before Wallenstein can be reinforced.
The pikes, look how many pikes there are.
But a thick fog spoils his plan. In the chaos, Gustavus leads a cavalry charge, loses his way in the fog, and is killed.
Wait, Gustavus dies? No! See, I'm a novice, right? I don't know all this stuff, so this is interesting to me. What? Not like this. Not like this.
On paper, Lützen is another Swedish victory, but the king's
Very much a Pyrrhic victory now.
death is a grievous blow.
Jeez.
The Protestant cause reels from the loss of the Lion of the North,
The Lion of the North.
one of history's great military innovators and leaders. If Gustavus Adolphus had walked away from Lützen, history may have been very different.
In what way? In what way? I don't know.
And such mishaps and accidents are sometimes argued to be
Okay, Epic History is getting their bag. This is the third ad. I've never seen 3 ads in an Epic History video, but go for it, bro. Go for it. He's making it contextual. That's what I like about it.
as important to history as its great structural forces, like culture and demography. Europa Universalis 5 is a game in which you can reach for many levers to influence the destiny of your chosen nation-state. But the unexpected can still throw you off course, just as it did for the Kingdom of Sweden. In this sophisticated sandbox for creating alternate history, the test will be to see if you can weather such storms and push on to empire and lasting glory. That winter, Swedish troops are mutinous and desperate.
So, let's not just not give credit where credit's due. Ferdinand Wallenstein. What a turn of events. Y'all are getting pushed back by this new system, this mobile system. But now the Empire strikes back. This is in Star Wars terms. The Empire just struck back. But now we need a Last Jedi.
But Wallenstein holds back his forces
The
in the
Return of the
east
Jedi.
near his own estates. In January,
I missed that. I'm sorry.
Swedish troops are mutinous and desperate. But Wallenstein holds back his forces in the east near his own estates.
Okay.
In January 1634, Emperor Ferdinand learns Wallenstein has been negotiating his own separate peace.
He's very ambitious, isn't he?
He is declared a traitor, cornered by imperial officers at his headquarters, and he too is killed.
Just like that. Okay, we're getting very paranoid over here in the HRE. So even though that was warranted, it seems like that might cause a little crumbling.
It's the end of an era. 3 giants are dead. Tilly, Gustavus, and now Wallenstein.
Now what?
The Emperor turns his attention to the Swedish scourge. 33,000 imperial troops move into Bavaria. 26,000 Swedes meet them in pitched battle at Nördlingen. Without their totemic leader, the Swedes stumble to disaster. They lose half their army, a potentially fatal blow. But it draws a new player into the fight.
France. What year is this? Before the Sun King? Because I think he started like 43 of this year, or of this century.
France.
The interest of a state and the interest of religion are two entirely... Oh, church versus state. Wow, nice, interesting. Cardinal Richelieu.
(1635).
Okay, we're way before the Sun King. We're 8 years prior. So is this Louis the 13th?
War has raged for 17 years. Hundreds of German villages lie in ruins. Food shortages are chronic. Reports of cannibalism flourish. Besieged soldiers eating dead comrades.
Famine.
Women devouring their own children.
That's horrible.
Years of pillaging, banditry, and warfare have forced people everywhere into desperation and despair. The anti-imperial forces are in disarray.
What a painting. Wow. What a painting. The dead are literally among us. Whoa, that's scary.
Emperor Ferdinand offers a way out. He swears to halt his assault on Protestantism. A general amnesty is proclaimed. Alliances with foreign powers forbidden. Protestant princes flock to accept the terms. But the war does not end. A powerful new player will see to that.
France.
Though Catholic, France is encircled by Habsburg domains,
Yeah, Dutch and Spain.
a grave strategic threat. Cardinal Richelieu, France's ruthlessly pragmatic chief minister, has
What is chief minister on the hierarchy of government for them?
bankrolled anti-Habsburg forces for years. He now commits to open conflict and declares war on Spain.
So he has the power to do that, apparently.
But Richelieu immediately faces a crisis. The Rhine Valley is secured by France's German allies, but Spanish forces push into France from the north and east. They get within 70 miles of Paris before they are repelled. Meanwhile, the Swedish army is in a dismal state, unpaid, badly supplied, and mutinous. But French money and fresh reinforcements allow them to fight on.
Where's James at with England? They're just standing by while their their Protestant ally and their, I mean, France really isn't an ally, is it? Are they? They might be. I don't think so though. But like, they letting their Swedish friends die? No help?
And then another bolt out of the blue. In February 1637, Ferdinand II, the man whose intransigence threw Europe into war, dies aged 58.
So we're going to have a secession crisis? Or are we going to have someone to grab the... Well, what is the secession crisis? Because it's the HRE. Might be very different, actually.
His son and successor, Ferdinand III, is capable, level-headed, and more flexible.
Okay, so this is the guy that's going to go all the way to Westphalia.
But he lacks his father's ruthlessness and is caught off guard by renewed Swedish energy.
Uh-oh.
Johan Barner, the aggressive Swedish commander-in-chief, conducts a series of audacious campaigns and wins upset victories at Wittstock and Chemnitz. But his supply lines cannot support a sustained advance, and each time he is forced to withdraw. Then he, too, dies of illness in
So he was short-lived.
May 1641. The following year, his successors once again meet the Imperials at Breitenfeld and win another crushing victory. The Swedes entrench themselves in Saxony, near the Habsburg heartlands. 1643 will prove a pivotal year. In May, 21-year-old Louis de Bourbon, Duke of Enghien, smashes a Spanish army at Rocroi. It is one of France's greatest military victories and secures its northern border from the Spanish threat.
Big deal.
The French then move into southern Germany, but their advance grinds to a halt at Tuttlingen, thanks to the efforts of the steely Bavarian commander Franz von Mercy. That same autumn, France's uneasy alliance with the Swedes faces crisis as the Swedish army marches north to invade Denmark.
Well, Denmark, is there any Catholic troops garrisoned there? I would say it's warranted if so.
It is an opportunistic land grab by the government in Stockholm, spurred on by a more hopeful development. Peace talks have begun in the Westphalian towns of Osnabrück and Münster. Everyone wants peace, but all seek a strong bargaining position, ensuring talks and the war will drag on for 5 more years. Southwestern Germany is ripped apart by clashing armies. until Mercy is killed at Alaheim, along with 9,000 other casualties.
It's very deadly war, as we can tell.
The road to Bavaria lies open, but the French can't take full advantage. Victory has crippled their army.
Wow. There is no instance of a country having benefited from a prolonged warfare. Sun Tzu. Very true. I mean, you're gonna have casualties. How can you always be at war? I mean, you can go for a while, but it's very difficult.
1645. The Swedes have returned to Saxony. Pushing south, they almost reach Vienna. But with too few men to take the city, they swing north to loot Moravia and fall back.
So it's not looking good for the Catholics at all right now.
By 1646, the French have regathered their strength and march against Bavaria. A Swedish force joins them and maneuvers past Emperor Ferdinand's main army, leaving Bavaria virtually undefended. To save his duchy, Bavaria's Duke Maximilian, one of the few leaders in place since 1618, offers peace, only to rejoin the war a few months later. The French and Swedes have had enough and decide on a joint decisive blow.
To Munich?
In May 1648, the last Imperial field army is shattered at Zumarshausen. The remnants fall back into the far south, leaving Bavaria's countryside exposed to plunder, pillaging, and wanton violence.
Yeah, on both sides, this is just a horrible war.
While the remains of the Bavarian and Imperial armies hold up a desperate defense, a separate Swedish force marches south from Saxony and reaches Prague.
That's the last battle.
In a twist of fate, they capture Yaroslav Borgita, one of the men thrown from the castle window 30 years before.
Whoa, that's weird.
But the Swedes can't take the city. Both sides are exhausted, down to their last reserves of stores and energy.
Jeez. That's a really good epitaph for this war. Exhausting.
Then, in early November, momentous news arrives. Peace. After 5 years of discussion in Westphalia, conditions have finally been set.
5 years?
The terms: Dutch independence from Spain,
Yep.
along with that of Switzerland, one of few imperial realms that has managed to stay neutral in the war.
Yeah.
Greater religious tolerance in Germany.
Good.
There is to be no forced conversion of subjects, except in the lands under direct Habsburg rule.
So we're literally back to the status quo because it's, you know, whose realm, whose religion at this point, really?
And territorial concessions to the major anti-Habsburg powers. France receives Alsace, while Sweden gains Western Pomerania and 3 important German ports. After 30 years of war, it is a peace everyone can live with.
For now. They say the terrible war is now over. But it still doesn't feel like peace. Everywhere there is jealousy, hate, and worse things. The war has taught us such. Wow. That's awesome. What a video, bro.
The 30 Years' War was a disaster unprecedented in Europe's history. A local revolt over religious rights that reignited ancient rivalries and fed on personal ambitions until nearly all Europe found itself at war. An estimated 5 to 8 million died, most from famine and disease.
Yeah.
The hardest hit areas lost nearly 2/3 of their inhabitants.
Like Germany.
1/5 of all Germans perished, a much larger share than in either World War. Even after the Peace of Westphalia, Spain and France fought on for 11 more years. The Holy Roman Empire, though weakened, survived for about another 150 years, finally dissolved in 1806 during the Napoleonic Wars. The Treaty of Westphalia is often viewed as a turning point in world history. The first modern secular international peace conference, and a major step toward the rise of Europe's nation-states. Historians
I didn't think about that.
Continue to debate Westphalia's importance, but one thing is not in doubt. The 30 Years' War cast a long and terrible shadow. For 300 years, it remained a terrifying, cautionary tale of how one small act of violent resistance might spiral into a senselessly destructive total war.
Wow.
A warning that was, ultimately, unheeded.
Wow. World War I. Amazing. 30 Years War. I mean, it is what it is, right? We saw modern warfare of the time being deployed. We saw what is the real struggle between Catholics and Protestants. We obviously saw alliances shift and greed take place, of course, within the provinces or states that you were trying to take advantage of in these power vacuums. It seems so barbaric, though, a lot of this. Like I said, it's the irony of this being a religious war, but it's deep-rooted in more things like greed and politics and who is rightfully destined to be the ruler of X. It's all just ego and it's it's everything war is, and it also is horrible, right? Within the, like I said, the antidotes are millions wide, where you have all these farmers just farming. They're part of a system and they don't really have like politics because they're just doing their livelihood with their family, but they are subjugated, and now the subjugation are under threat by a foreign person that wants to subjugate them. And then furthermore, now they're being killed for something that they are they're not even really part of, but they're part of it inherently. It's the craziness of war. However, this video dictates all of that, narrates it perfectly. Appreciate you guys as always. If you like this video, hit a subscribe button. That might be right here, or right there, or right there. I don't know where it's at. It's down there. I know where it's at. Have a good day. I hope you have a good week. I hope you have a good month. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, and bye-bye.